is up, guys? JoPaWrites here once again, and today bringing you another episode of the Writer's Thoughts live here on twitch.tv/JoPaWrites. Catch these live starting next week. They will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you miss the live stream, you can catch it at youtube.com/JoPaWrites. It'll be live the next day. Make sure you drop a sub there, turn on notifications, so that way you can catch all of my content over there, especially the Writer's Thoughts, because I'm going to be bringing a lot of information with regards to the gaming and geeky community, as well as my thoughts, my reactions to what that information is bringing in, and I'm very excited to do this on a regular basis. It's something I've been kind of tossing around for a long time, but I did one earlier this week. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be doing these a lot going forward. So I appreciate all your support, and I'm going to jump into it with some various news that we had going on. First of all, we had Disney Plus announcing the release date of The Mandalorian, which is going to be in October. We also had the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We had WandaVision, and we have Loki, all set to release later this year. Now, those are very good things for Disney Plus. However, unfortunately, that means that a lot of their content is going to be lacking from now until then. I know I personally have dropped Disney Plus. I watched the season 1 of Mandalorian and got my fill of all the classics that I wanted to catch up on. But there's really not a lot that's super enticing from now until that later time frame once all these shows start coming out. And that's a kind of a shame, and that's the hard part with Disney trying to catch up to something like Netflix that's consistently churning out content. Disney Plus has to have new ideas every single month in order to keep people invested and keep people excited. Now, they're doing things a little bit different with the weekly shows, so I think that'll help them prolong everything a little bit. But at the end of the day, they need to continuously bust out more content, and if anything, maybe they put out the Disney Plus a little bit too soon without having a lot of these other shows and exclusive ideas available on the platform right away. That's just my personal thought on it, because I know a lot of people caught the nostalgia. They grabbed Disney Plus, they watched the Mandalorian, but then as it died down, I'm assuming a lot of people dropped their subscription like I did, and we'll just pick it back up when all these shows drop later in the year. So, that being said, I'm super hyped about all of them. They all look very, very good. It looks like a cinematic experience coming to your TV, which is what we've seen from Netflix from one of their shows, what we saw from The Mandalorian. So I think continuing that is a great thing, and I'm very excited for those shows as someone who's an avid lover of the MCU. Then we had Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, talking about how Microsoft doesn't see Sony or Nintendo as their chief competition going forward. They actually see Google and Amazon. So what they're talking about in all likelihood is the cloud service. They believe that the gaming is going to go more towards cloud-based services and online gaming. And we saw them start that with the Xbox One, and something they really tried to push early on when the community just wasn't really ready for it. So that's something that I think they need to slowly walk in and not push all their chips in the table. That does make me question a little bit that Series X, whether they're as invested in that as Sony is with the PS5. Obviously, the PS5 is going to be a monster, as is the Xbox Series X. But those are some statements that have me wondering if they're already preparing to lose that battle, the battle with the Series X. Obviously, they're not really competing with the Switch. It's a apples to oranges kind of comparison there. But the PlayStation 5 is something that the PS4 outsold the Xbox One by so many units that maybe Xbox is just reevaluating their content strategy to move in a different direction. They're going to have the Series X come out. It's going to be a big hit. It's going to do well, but they're also going to have all these other projects and programs in place to challenge the cloud service. Now, the downside to what he said is we've seen Google and Amazon try to get into the gaming sphere so far with not very great results. Obviously, those companies have a lot of resources. So if they fully invest, if they're able to bring on the people that have experience in the gaming realms, possibly they could make an imprint in that department, outside of mobile games and such. But at this point, they've proven they have not been able to compete whatsoever. And just because someone has a lot of money, they have a lot of resources, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to actually uh, knock down the standard bearer, which at this point is Sony with the PS5, PS4 going to the PS5. As far as consoles, now Xbox has also done a lot with bringing their games to PC. So again, they're making everything a little bit more linear for their aspect of it, which is a interesting strategy. I wonder if that lessens the value of the Series X as well. But either way, it should be interesting times. I know we'll get a lot of more news with the Series X and also the PS5 here in the next couple months as we learn about the pricing, as we learn about what features are coming on. Then I'm very excited to see what's going to come, what we're actually going to get, whether it's all going to seamlessly tie in, crossover, as people go on to the next generation of console gaming. And we also had the PS5 website, which is live, but there's really not a lot of information on it. Just kind of showing that there's going to be more information shown sooner rather than later. We also had some information on Cyberpunk 2077 potentially being downgraded. This is something that I've seen talked about a little bit as far as games getting downgraded. For example, The Witcher 3 got downgraded, but it's still a very good looking game overall. It does have its issues from time to time, especially with the age of it by now, but overall it's still a pretty darn good looking game in general. Cyberpunk will probably have similar issues just because it feels like it's maxing out current gen hardware. What will be interesting is if they are able to optimize it as well for the next gen consoles. So, if, for example, it is better optimized for the PS5 and the Xbox One X, I would imagine most people who get it will prefer to play it on those consoles or play it on PC if that's the case, if it's such a striking difference. We'll have to wait and see. There's some backlash from people saying, oh, well, developers promise this and deliver this. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think in business, you start working on something, everything is working well, and then something goes wrong, and you have to readjust your plans. Now, when you're showing off a trailer, that's and the most optimized settings. That's the ideal scenario. So, unfortunately, that's not always what it's going to be looking like exactly. I wonder if it's a little bit of false advertising, but for me personally, I understand that's just them taking it from a perfect setting into a more the actual gameplay setting, which is going to be a bit different. So that said, I'm very excited about Cyberpunk myself. I think it's going to be an amazing game. I am stoked about it, and I'm kind of bummed it got delayed, but glad they're working on some fixes and trying to get things bust out as best as possible. And also, it's a game I might be looking to play on the PS5 if there's an upgrade and it looks a little bit better there. So we had Apex Season 4 drop, Assimilation. If you don't know, I'm an avid Apex Legends player, fan. This season brought a new character, a whole bunch of new changes. The most intriguing for probably the hardcore fan base is going to be the split ranked season, where you have to re-rank every 6 weeks instead of over the full 3 months for the season. I think, and then also they've announced that Kings Canyon will be coming back for the latter half of that, which is awesome. I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to reinvigorate the last half of the season. I felt like last season was slow towards the end. They did have a lot of events and stuff, but it just felt like the season dragged and the regular base games were just a little bit too slow. I'd like to see more of that. There also was rumors of a solo mode coming, which I think is vital for the player base, even if I won't personally play it that much, because I feel like there's a lot of people who play solo who feel like they're good players but can't play because randoms will quit if they don't get the right character. They will run off on their own and do their own thing, and it makes it very, very difficult to play the game when you have to play with two other people who you can't communicate with, who like it just the game works better in squads, but a solo gameplay would work out very very well in my opinion. Outside of that, I think that's all I have for today. I had a bit of news and some information, some of my thoughts, and I'm pretty excited to continue doing this. Like I said, I'll be live again Monday with a new writer's thoughts, um, and then gameplay afterwards, as always. So I think I appreciate all of you guys stopping by, hanging out. Thank you for watching the video on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you may catch it, and I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks as always for stopping by the channel. Make sure to like and subscribe for future content, and I will catch you guys later.